Are you a team that's in the market for a versatile 7-footer who can score, defend, pass, and even shoot the three? Well, for Philadelphia, the last few years, it's been about trust the process, but I think now it might be time to trade the process. I'm going to break it all down, and I'm going to lay out some Joel Embiid trades that I think could happen. That's all on today's Half Court Report. Hey everybody, thanks for stopping by today. Really appreciate the great feedback and the response that we've had to the videos on the channel so far. Still a pretty brand new channel, so trying to get the word out. So subscribe to the channel, make sure you like the video, comment, share it, all that good stuff. I'm going to be putting out videos every couple of days. Okay, so let's start with where we're at right now. It's been simmering for quite some time, but especially this season, the question's always been about Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. Can they coexist together? Whose team is it? Do they complement each other? Can you win with these two guys playing together with such pivotal roles? Well, last week, Embiid even heard some boos from the home team crowd, and in true Joel Embiid fashion, he played the heel after the game in his interview and on social media. Then former teammate Jimmy Butler, we all have Jimmy Buckets, he got in on it, and things have been blowing up since then. So do I think Embiid is going to be traded? I do. Here's why. 3 reasons. 1, I think Ben Simmons is going to be the guy that they're going to want to build around long term. I think he has more potential. I think he's a more versatile player. Al Horford, he's another reason. They signed him to that contract over the summer. I really think they're regretting that. He's got, 3 or 4 more years on his contract, so it's going to be really tough to move him. So you ship out Embiid, you move Horford back to the 5 where he played in Boston. And third reason, I think this team is going to crumble when it comes playoff time. I think they're going to be a first-round exit. I think Brett Brown is going to be fired. And I think the turmoil is just going to continue into next season, no matter who the next coach is. So once that happens, I think management is finally going to come around and say, okay, we need to trade either Simmons or Embiid, and it's going to be Embiid. So here's the fun part. Where do I think he is going to go? So I've got 3 trades lined up that I want to run through. I know the trade deadline is over for this year, but I think any trade that does happen is going to be by next year's deadline. So keep that in mind with these. Okay, number 1 is the Celtics for Jason Tatum, Marcus Smart, and Romeo Langford. So for the Sixers, you do this because you can put Tatum in the front court with Harris and Horford. He'll be reunited with Horford. They played together in Boston for a couple years. Then you've got the Ben Simmons and Josh Richardson backcourt. Smart, he's going to stay as the 6th man on the team. I think he's pretty comfortable with that, and he does a really good job. So why does Boston do it? Well, I think they solidify their front court and their backcourt with this deal. They've got a lot of draft picks that they can use this year, too, to really help to find that 5th starter who is going to play along with Hayward, Embiid, Walker, and Brown. So with all those picks, I think they're going to hope that one of those pans out for a long-term starter. Question is, are they going to want to trade with each other? Because they're not only in the same conference, but same division, so I think that's a big question. Okay, team number 2, I've got Portland for CJ McCollum. Now this trade works up really well salary-wise. The Blazers, they need that second star that they're going to put with Dame, and Embiid can be what they wanted Greg Oden to be, but he just couldn't because of the injuries. So one thing with this deal, you'll have a crowded front court because you're going to have Nurkic and Zach Collins still. So you need to do some sort of other trade that you could pair, get a 2-guard to pair with Lillard in the back court. So for Philly, it gets Embiid out of the conference, sends him over to the West. Simmons is huge, so he can play point just fine next to McCollum. He's a little undersized. McCollum still has that shooting that will help to offset Simmons' lack of shooting. I do wonder if this is a trade that Philly is going to want to do. Might not be straight up Embiid for McCollum when you look at it from Philly's perspective, because I think they're going to want to have some sort of maybe extra draft asset. Maybe Portland could trade Nasir Little in that deal to get it done. And finally, since Jimmy Butler is kind of wrapped up in this whole thing, forever tied to the Sixers and Embiid because they were teammates, and I think they kind of have that same dog mentality too, always wanting to play the villain. So Butler's wrapped up in this. He wants to get his guy back in Miami, so let's do a Heat trade. This one I think is a little tricky as far as salary matching is concerned, but it centers around Kelly Olynyk, Bam Adebayo, and Tyler Hero. Now, I love this deal for Philly because I think Hero can be that shooter they need. I think they've really suffered since J.J. Redick left in the offseason. Bam is just getting better day by day. I love him, and I love the fit that he would have next to Horford. And for the Heat, you're going to have that core of Butler, Embiid, Kendrick Nunn, and Duncan Robinson. So they got rid of some bad contracts at the deadline in James Johnson and Dion Waiters. So they're going to have a lot of cap space that they can use for the coming off season and as we move into free agency. So I think they're going to want to add in whoever they can to try to supplement the core that they have going after they do this Embiid trade. So there you go. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. I read them all. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, tell all your friends about it. This has been Troy, and I'll see you next time on the Half Court Report.